Hey folks, what's up? We're getting set up here. Hope everyone is doing well. Still having my morning coffee. Oh, afternoon coffee. Sound an alert real quick. All right. I'm just gonna stream for a little while here. I gotta go to work eventually. A couple hours. And I am just continuing on working on this work boy. Open this thing. It is another hot and humid day in Taiwan. Not my favorite thing. Alright, so just continuing on working on the leather, pouches, straps, belts, all that stuff. This is where we're at right now. Mostly base coated, some details started, the skin's done. I do need to do his claws. Obviously the weapons, I need to finish the leather. And then it's on to the small details. But that's where we're at right now. Anyway, what I'm using for this first highlight is this Panzer Aces light rust color. And I'm really just kind of working on volumes. And defining the edges of these parts. So just like yesterday, I'm just using this color, thinned down with some glaze medium. And I'm going to go for So again, I'm just working tiny lines. I'm going all around these edges, working from the center to the outside. And this isn't really details yet. This is just starting to get a little bit of the texture in at the same time as defining volumes. Getting the edges a little brighter than the base coat. And like I said before, I'm not trying to be nice and clean with these. This is supposed to be rough. I'm not doing transitions or anything. It's much more about texture. Hey, Nate's back. What's up, man? Going alright. I just started. I'm just working on the leather on this guy. Still doing the first texturing volumetrics part. I'm really just starting to go around the edges, using lines to define all the edges of all the leather. I still have a couple spots I forgot to start, of course. But okay. What are you up to today, man? You painting something? I got a couple. I didn't start these spots because these are rather hard to get to. But they gotta be done. I'm really trying not to hit the skin because the skin is finished. I really don't want to mess any of that up. Family sick since Sunday. Oh man, that sucks. Hope you all feel better soon. Being sick is never fun, especially in the hot weather. I'd rather be sick in the winter than in the summer. I am not a hot weather person. That's why Taiwan summers for me are very uncomfortable. I much prefer the cold over the hot. Which again, I have to have this stupid fan going, so it's totally working against me here. As far as drying my paint out where I want it to be dry. But it is a necessary evil. Otherwise, it is just too damn hot. Thinking maybe I should throw some retarder in this paint. But I don't really want to thin it out too much. I'm not going to go real heavy on this part because this is in shadows. But it does need some. That's starting to get where I want it to be. Make sure I got, oh, there's another one over here. How much leather? So again, I'm just working in tiny lines. Just on the edges of these belts and straps. I'm going to get a wet brush ready because I am sure I'm going to hit a skin or hit shirt on this part. So just to be prepared for that eventuality, I need to mop something up. This is a rather tricky spot. And not only is it close to the skin and the clothes, but the way I have to put my brush in here, I'm blocking my own view and I can't really see what I'm doing. Kind of stabbing in the dark. I think I managed to not make too much of a mess. Probably should have thought about all this when I was building, but I didn't. Just kind of threw them together. And he's been sitting for a while, so I do want to get him finished because there's some other things I want to move on to. Shit. Alright, good thing I had that ready. Alright, I'm not feeling this brush for this. So I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna try not to touch his leg again. Starting to feel like I might have had a little too much coffee to do this. And honestly, there's no such thing really as too much coffee. But kind of is too much coffee for painting. And this is a tricky spot too. I really can't see what I'm doing down in here. Can't see what I'm doing at all. Much. This really is quite a tedious and slow process. But I think it's worth it. Especially because I'm in no hurry to get these done. I'm actually really never in a hurry to get any models done. I don't have anything against speed painting or army painting or playing the games obviously at all. I just don't play them. I just paint because I like to paint. That is it. So I don't have to have anything done by any date or any tournament or any game or anything like that. Oh, thanks, man. I've been liking this this color skin recipe lately with the purple in the shadows. And then using a bit more desaturated greens. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the bright colors too. This is just what I've been liking recently. Do like that purple though. I've been trying to use some different shadow colors and stuff like that. And I kind of dig it. 2, what's up, bro? Yeah, more coffee. No lie. No lie. But I drink coffee all day long, and sometimes it's not to my benefit. I'm gonna have to make a little more here in a minute. Alright, so I think I got most of these volumes defined. At least to what's good. Oh, I missed a spot. At least to where I'm satisfied. I can start glazing in the next highlight color before I get to actually detailing it. That strap's mostly hidden, so I'm not going to stress that one too much. I'm not really going to worry about that one. Same with this one. It's up under the shoulder pads. So I'll just hit that edge a little bit and call it good. Alright, so I'm going to get this next color ready. I'm going to get 2 birds stoned at the same time. I'm going to throw this paint on the mixer, make some coffee while that's doing that. So just give me 1 minute and I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Day 52, I just watched your orc skin video, and I really enjoyed it. I like it when people use some other colors in there. I was just talking to Nate about that. That's what I've been into for skin lately. I've been going for purples. I did like that blue though. That was pretty cool. The blue was nice. I'm just gonna thin this down a little bit. I'm not gonna mix it right in this time. I'm gonna add some to my brush and mix it rather than just drop that whole big pile in there. Might be a little too much. I'm going to start with this color, this yellow rust. I'm going to be a little more defined with what I'm doing. I'm mostly still just working on texture, but I'm not going to thin it out as much, and I'm going to try to be a little more, I don't know how to say, deliberate with what I'm doing. I guess that's the word I'm going for. And a little more controlled application of these lines. Still isn't the final fine details, but we're starting to get to that point. Now I'm gonna be a little more generous with this color at the corners of stuff. And this is going to look quite bright right now, and that's okay, because there's a final, we'll do a final filter at the end, which is going to bring all this stuff together, bring it all in line. Again, this is mostly just about texture. Closer here, see where I'm going with this. I'm going to be a little heavier on the corners. Of these things, and again, it's all just tiny lines. Hopefully that's camera's focusing. And the edges of these flaps, I'm going to go heavier as well. Corners and the flap edges. Oh yeah, yellow would be cool. Yeah, that would be cool. There's a lot you could probably do with that, especially with the technique you were using, with different shades of yellow. That could be super cool. Yeah, gear guts, definitely. I agree. Very cool stuff. Now the weird thing is this model, that on this side, this doesn't have any defined edge, so I'm gonna have to kind of draw it in for this top flap. It just kind of goes flat with, I don't know, it's weird. So anyway, yeah, Gear Guts does some really cool stuff. Also quarter paint. I'm pretty sure he pretty much, I think he only has Instagram, but man, his that dude kills me with his orcs. He's all into the desaturated colors, which, like I said, don't get me wrong, I do like the really bright orcs too, but man, someone does that desaturated stuff really well. It looks so good. His shit is amazing. Void Panzer range and the regular amount of range is a bit thick something. I like the Panzer stuff. It is a little thicker than the game color, but I haven't noticed any graininess like you said. It thins down well. I would rather have it a little thick and be able to thin it myself than have it to be, you know, too runny, kind of like the Game Air stuff. I have a lot of the Game Air stuff too, but I'm using it a lot less and less, just because it's already so thin. I don't feel like I have as much control over it as something that's a little thicker that I can thin down myself and get it the way I like it. It's nice. The Game Air stuff's nice if you just want, you know, like it's almost already a glaze by itself almost. So if you do want something, you know, that's a little more translucent, you just grab that and not really have to do anything to it. But so yeah, I do like the Panzer stuff. I just started. I got a couple bottles of the Mecha Color stuff, and I like the colors, but it's like the Model Air. It's very thin. So I'm still not sure exactly how I feel about those. The colors that I got actually used on this guy, the Mecha colors, and I do really like the colors themselves. One second, I'll show you what I got. I just grabbed a couple. Got this deep green, pretty nice. Olive green, it's kind of separated right now. Where's the other one? I forgot what the other one is. But yeah, these are pretty nice greens. Like I said, used on this guy. Desaturated greens. I forget what the other ones are. Those are Hatakas. So I don't remember what the other one is. I don't know where it is right now. Oh, this what was it? Insignia Red. It's, kind of like halfway between a Hull Red and like a Wazdaka, a little bit desaturated red. I actually haven't used that yet, but I have used these and I do like them. They're just that, you know, that kind of Model Air thickness. So if that's your thing, you know, you like that, definitely check out the Mecha colors. They got some cool colors that I didn't really see in the other lines. They're slightly different. I do like those. Those colors are good. I probably should just kill this fan and turn on the air conditioner. That'd be better for my paint drying. Not so fast. What are you up to today, 52? You painting something? Relaxing? What's going on? When doing these lines, I'm trying to be as random as I can. I'll get some long ones. Some are short, some are just dots. And this is all about just the texture at this point. Getting some work done. Work, paint work, or video work. Honestly, I really should be working on a video, but instead of doing this, to be totally honest, but I have to go to work at 5, so I hate I hate working on a video when I know that I got a time that I have to finish whatever I'm doing for the day. So usually I save my video production time for late night, usually. The other considering factor in that is like literally 50 meters outside of this window is an 8-lane national highway, which I'm sure you can hear in the background. So there's a lot less traffic at night, obviously, and it just makes dealing with audio stuff a lot easier if I do my filming at night, like late night, like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. If I had enough camera cable length, I would pop the camera out and show you what I'm talking about. But I mean, it's literally like 50. Hey, what's up? Literally like 50 meters outside this window. I have buildings, street here, a little I don't know, slope of grass and whatnot, and then the highway right there. I mean, it's convenient for driving and all that, but not so much for recording audio. Work. Gotcha. Yeah, right on, man. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you were able to jump in. I do like all the work that you do on your videos. I enjoy them very much. And yeah, I love how the Orc village turned out too. That was really cool. There looks like it was a lot of work. I just built that stupid little trash bash thing, and that was just that tiny little thing was a lot of work. Took a lot longer than I thought it would, to be honest. That orc village was sharp. I enjoyed seeing how he did all that. Look, kitty. Yeah, it's always trying to get in on this broadcast. You ain't no star, asshole. I'm just kidding. I love my kitties. Yeah, man, I can tell. Like I said before, I really enjoy your videos. I can tell you put a lot of work into them. It shows. No, do not step on the computer. Thank you. Right. Okay, so pouches I think are pretty good for this color. For now, that's kind of where we're at. Hopefully this focuses. For this color, like I said, still building texture. None of this is actual detail yet. I'll just texture. Now I just got to do the same thing on all the belts, all the straps. Ugh. All good. It's just this chair. If I had a better chair, I could paint a lot longer in one sitting. This chair kills me. Is your virus situation getting any better in Sweden there? Or getting worse? I pretty much, honestly, really only follow Taiwan, obviously, because I live here, and America, where my friends and family are. All the other countries, I'm not really totally sure what their situation is anymore. I was a lot more diligent on keeping up with all that initially, but it got to be a lot to follow and a lot to process emotionally. Kind of had to pull back a little bit, just worry about what was going on here and back home. Everything's going actually quite well here. We've had 3 or 4 incubation cycles with no new infections here. And as far as domestic, the only new sick people that we've had are people coming in from abroad. Flattening out. Okay, that's good, man. That's good to hear. It's a pretty shitty thing. I'm not into talking politics on my streams or channels or anything, but I do like to know what's going on and people who are actually living in the places. Hopefully everything gets better for everyone. Yeah, it was handled a lot differently here too, because Taiwan was hit so hard with the first SARS. The government was completely on top of it from the very beginning. Ever since then, our airports they all have the thermal imaging for everyone who deplanes. You have to go through a thermal imager, temperature check, And the government started limiting flights and started travel bans really, really early, which is why we have only had a few hundred cases on an island of 27 million people, which is pretty phenomenal. Pretty amazing, especially considering we're only 80 meters, or 80 meters, 80 miles, so that's what, a couple hundred km from China, southern China, which is, where the whole thing started. And yeah, everybody's been going to work, pretty much. Very few things had even closed. Since it all started basically right around Lunar New Year, all the students were on vacation anyway, so they just extended that vacation by a few weeks. And anyone coming in from certain countries had to home quarantine, self-quarantine, which they enforced by phone GPS tracking and random visits by Ministry of Health officials. And there were, they imposed quite hefty fines for violating quarantine. So I think it was handled extremely well. And the result being, like I said, out of 27 million people, only a few hundred cases. Is pretty incredible. Taiwanese have been accepting of mask wearing for a long time, so that definitely helps. No one has a problem. A lot of people wear masks all the time anyway, even when there is no virus or anything like that. That's an interesting approach. I don't know enough about it to make a judgment, but that's cool. If it's working, then it's working. That's all that's important, really. I mean, hopefully you didn't have a lot of casualties. Or hopefully you didn't have a lot of cases, because even when people don't die, the health effects that they will have forever, for the rest of their life, are pretty serious. So hopefully you guys are not too bad. I mean, hopefully it's not bad at all, but it's bad everywhere, so. But you get what I'm saying. Alright. Straighten my back for a minute. A lot of people did get infected, that's too bad. Yeah, I hear ya. I'd be interested to see some data on that. Like I said, I'm not judging because I don't know enough about it to have an opinion on you guys' situation. But when this whole thing is done, it would be interesting to see the data on, how different countries handled it and what the results were. I'd be interested in seeing that. For the most part, it's pretty much winding down here totally. So I can pass judgment on how Taiwan handled it, which was incredibly well. But hopefully that time comes for every country, and start winding down everywhere. And hopefully some countries, namely my home country, learn some lessons about healthcare systems and general public welfare in the grand scheme. But knowing how the American government is, and most, not all, most, well maybe not even most, but a lot of Americans, how they are in general, I'm not real optimistic about lessons being learned. But like I said, I don't want to talk politics and stuff on streams. This is about painting. Current events is one thing, but I don't want to start getting into politics. So anyway, I'm just continuing on with the same color. Well, it can't handle much more, I feel you. Fortunately, thank the gods, my household wasn't impacted. Well, it was, not as bad as many others, but it was, so I can relate. My girlfriend works in the airline industry. She is like basically a airport services manager at Taipei, and the company that she works for drastically cut flights fairly soon after it started, so she's been on a reduced work schedule for, well, since pretty much since the beginning of all this. We normally run about 21 flights every day, and that dropped to 4 passenger flights a week. That is quite a significant drop in flights. They were still doing cargo flights. But there's not much, not much need for airport services managers when there's no people in the airport. We flew near the very beginning of the whole outbreak. We flew to Japan from Taipei, and it was eerie. It was crazy. The airport was empty. I've never seen it like that. It was empty. And normally that is a very busy airport. But there was nobody there. It was pretty crazy. And so anyway, I'm just continuing on with this yellow rust color. And working in this texture. Doing the easier parts first, because that's how I like to do. Some of these spots are really hard to get to. Normally, even though they're just, they're not like character models or what do you call them, HQs or whatever the hell you call them, the special duders. Generally, even these boys, I generally almost always do them in sub-assemblies, but this guy I just built straight out. Totally built him out. So there's a lot of spots that are really hard to reach. Like here, I really don't want to touch his chin because the skin is all done. But most of that's in shadow anyway, so I don't really need to get all up in there, especially on that inside part. Yeah, this guy probably he'll go on a regular base. To be completely honest, basing is definitely my weak point in this whole hobby. I've recently started to put more effort into it. Like I said, because I don't play the games, so so it was always about just painting, just because I like the paint, and yeah. So, but he will just go on a regular base. I did recently pick up some more basing materials. Because I only got back into painting last year, after like 30 years off, and so I felt like my money was better spent on paints and stuff at the time versus basing stuff. So I did recently get some things to do a little bit more basing. I found see, because I live in New Taipei City, and actually the 2GW stores are up in Taipei, which isn't that far. It's only like 20, maybe 30 km from here. But parking in Taipei City is a fucking nightmare. So especially where these shops are located, there's just no place to park, and so we don't drive up in there much. And if I was to ride my motorcycle in, I could do that. I just haven't. And if I want to take public transport, it's like a total of like 3 buses and 2 metros. So it's not that far. It's just not that convenient to get up there to buy basing stuff. So I need to buy my stuff online. There's not a lot of online sellers, domestic sellers that are selling a lot of basing stuff. So I have to order from companies outside the country, and that gets expensive. Shipping, especially now. Like when I would order something from Amazon, shipped from America, like the average shipping price previously was like $8 to $10 US. Now it's like 30, and I can't justify spending $30 on basing materials and then $30 on getting it here. So there is one seller on our big shopping site here that sells just Vallejo stuff, and Vallejo just started or is just about to sell grass tufts and getting into a little bit more basing stuff. So he's gonna order that stuff in for me, which will be nice. Yeah, shipping right now is ridiculous. The shipping prices are crazy. When they go back down, then it's no problem. I'll order some stuff out of the country more, but I couldn't believe it. And there's this other project I want to do, making these little keychain things with wood and resin and some orc parts and stuff. And the wood blanks that I wanted were like, I think they were right around $9 or $10 US, and the shipping was like $27. No fucking way. So that project has to wait. I did some asking around on Facebook about trying to find these wood blanks in my area, and apparently there's a place up in Taipei, but it's just like a guy, and he has this space, and it's kind of hit or miss as to when he's open, and you gotta kind of call ahead and go, hey, I'm gonna be around there on Tuesday, will you be there? That kind of stuff. But I really want to do that. I think I would like to have one for myself, of this idea that I have, but I would also like to try to sell them, because I think people would like them. Not gonna give away my secret though. But yeah, that's nice that you have a shop close. I mean, like I said, it's not real far. It's just, well, let's be honest, I'm kind of lazy, and if I can order something and just go downstairs and pick it up at 7-Eleven, then I'm gonna do that. But anyway, I am gonna start getting ready for work, even though I just mixed up more paint, which is silly. But I need to shower and I should eat something. So thanks guys for jumping in and having a chat. I hope you all stay safe, stay sane, all that stuff, and I will catch you guys again later. All right.